See, I would like to merge a string with variable values. For example, we have a string like this, that is, John lives in New York. Here, the name of the person and name of the city, both of these come from variables. For example, we have a variable called name equal to John and also another variable called city. So my goal here is that I would like to merge this particular name value in this place. So the name is here. And then I would like to add this city value in this place. So I would like to place this name in this place and this city value in this place. So like this in the real world applications also, while printing a message to the user, you would like to merge the values of the variables in the strings. For example, I would like to create another string like hello Scott. Here Scott is the name of the user. So here hello is the static string, that is fixed string, and the name of the user should come from a variable. We would like to merge the string with variable values. How to do that? That is the goal of this particular formatting strings topic. Let us try. Let me create a file, that is formattingstrings.py. The first way to do this is you can use the concatenation operator, that is plus. For example, we have a variable called name and also city and then actual message in another variable. So at this particular place, that is at the left hand side, I would like to add the value of the name. So you can do that by using this concatenation operator, that is plus. So in this place, the actual value, that is John, comes into picture. So it becomes like John and then lives in, and then the value of city, that is New York. So it becomes as John lives in New York. Yes, we are getting the same output. In this place, we have the value of name, and in this place, we have the value of city. But is it easy to understand? See, the problem here is the usage of plus. It makes it confusing. Is there any way to mix the values of the variables within the double quotes itself instead of writing the variable names outside the quotes? Yes, there is a way, that is by using the format method of this string. Let us try. Here, I am trying to assign the message as the opening and closing brace that will represent one value of the variable, and then the static string, that is lives in, and then to represent another value, we have to use another braces. So each time when you add these braces, which means that we are representing a particular value from another variable. But what is that variable here? We have to define, right? So we have to say format of, we have to supply the variable values in a sequence. That is first and second is second. So at this first place, I would like to supply the value of name, right? So we have to add the name first and then the second value, that is city. So in this case also, see, we are getting exactly the same output. That is fine. So previously we have the confusion of double quotes, writing the variable names outside the quotes. But here it is easy to understand. We are writing complete string inside the quotes itself, but these act as placeholders, just like fill in the blanks. So in this place, the first value, that is name value, will be added, that is John here. And in this place, we have the second value, that is city. So it becomes as a single sentence, that is a string that is saying John lives in New York. But sometimes you would like to print the same variable value more than once. For example, I want a string like this. See, in this place, the same city name is repeated twice. That is here as well as here. In this case, you can try like this. We have to represent the placeholders with a number. That is just index number of the value. Let us try. So we can assume that the name is 0 and then city is 1. Here, index always starts from 0. So whichever the first value that you supply here, that is represented as 0, and whichever the second value, that is 1, and so on. It can be 2, 3, 4 and n number of. So let's try to create this message again. But this time we are trying to represent as 0 and 1 respectively. Here, in place of 0, the firstly supplied value, that is name, will be substituted. And then in this place of 1, you have the second value. So of course it gives us the same output, but the difference is previously we are just depending on the order, that is first and second is second. Now we can interchange the numbers based on the requirement. For example, I am writing the 1 first and then 0. Of course, it doesn't be meaningful, but it is possible. But the actual sentence that we want is first the city name, that is index number 1 here, where index number 0 is name. And then the static text, that is a wonderful city. And in this place, I would like to add the value of the index number 0, that is name here. So whichever you supply in this first place, that is 0, and the second place is 1. And you can supply any number of values, as many as you wish. And in this place, which value you want to display? That is city, right? What is the index of this city? That is 1, right? So now it makes a meaningful sentence. That is, New York is a wonderful city. John lives in New York. So like this, you can merge the multiple occurrences of the same value by using these indexes. So if you are okay to use in a sequential order only once, you can go with this indexless. This is called default order. Now you would like to use the values in your own order instead of the default order, or you would like to place the same value multiple times. In that case, you will use this positional order with indexes. It is up to you. And of course, in the same way, you can just store this actual string as another variable, like for example raw string, and you can use that variable here instead. It gives us the same output. Next, and after that, if you feel like this 0, 1, 2, all these indexes are being confused, you want to use the actual name of the variable instead of the indexes. In that case, you will go for the named order. Let's say, for example, you are trying to say that this name assigns to a variable name like A, and then this city assigns to B. So here we are representing that the variable A equal to name, the variable B equal to city. Here you can call this A and B as key instead of variables. Because this A and B are just temporary uses, they are available only for the execution of this format method. After the execution of this format method, that means on the further code, This A and B are unknown. Anyways, you can give them any other variable name. For example, I am trying to give it like N for name and C for city. So here, instead of using the indexes like 0 and 1 and make it confused, you can use the actual name, that is key name. For example, here I want the city name, right? You can simply write like C. So what is the value of C here? That is city, right? That is, of course, New York. And in the same way, here I want the name. And then here city. Like this, you can replace the key names instead of indexes. It makes it more sense, right? See, if you just look at the code randomly, in case of indexes, it may be confusing. But instead of indexes, if we can use the key names like this, it is more better, right? So this particular concept is called as keyword arguments, which means that we are trying to supply an argument value to the function, that is format function, and at the same time we are trying to supply a key name so it can use the same with the name of the key like C and N. So of course the result or output will be the same. And of course you can give a longer name than single character. For example, I am trying to give it like name itself instead of N, city itself instead of C. So you can simply use it like city and name. Like this, it makes it more easy and makes sense. So we are getting the same here. But I have a problem here. If it is just 1 or 2 values, you can easily supply like this. But if it is more than 2, you keep on writing the variable name equal to value, again variable name equal to value. You keep on writing multiple variable names like this. It makes it lengthy code. Is there any possibility of making it shortcut? Yes, that is called F strings. Let us try. We are trying to take the same code, but this time instead of keyword arguments like this, you can directly use the variable names like city and name. Simply we have to add the character called F before the first double quotes. See, you must prefix these double quotes with F. Here, F for formatting. That's all. You need not use this format method anymore. You can straight away assign the value into a variable like this. See, whenever you prefix F before the double quotes, all these placeholders will be replaced with the actual values. So in this place, the actual value of the city variable, that is New York, will be substituted. And in the similar way here, the value of name. So this is pretty easy, right? See, in the real world applications, if you want to just straight away use the variable names here instead of indexes, this is a good choice. But in case if you don't want to use the variable names but use the positions instead, then indexes will be a better choice. Alright. So let us print. We are getting the same output. So these are all the various techniques to merge the actual string with values of the variables. In this way, you can create greeting text to the user. For example, you are developing a birthday application. In that case, you can generate a string like happy birthday to Harsha. In this case, the name of the user comes from a variable and you are trying to merge the same with a string. Alright. In the same format method, we have another use cases. For example, you have a number like this, some larger number. Suppose you would like to add digit grouping, that is, for every 3 digits you want to add a comma. It is possible by using the same format method. So in this case, first you will take a string, and then to represent the number we have to use the braces, and to represent the first value we have to use 0, and then you supply the actual value, that is for example number. So then the string dot format of, then we have to supply that actual value, that is number. So we are calling the format method and supplying a value, right? Since this is the first value, the index is 0, right? So we are printing that 0 as it is here. So then we are getting that number as it is. But instead of printing that number as it is, I would like to add the digit grouping, that is, for every 3 digits, you would like to add the comma. In that case, you will mention the format name, that is colon and then comma. So if you give 1 comma, you will get 1 comma for all the 3 digits. For example, before 987, we have comma, and then before 374, we have another comma. So for every 3 digits, you will get a comma for a digit grouping. Of course, this doesn't apply the culture. In some cultures, you will add comma for only 2-digit ones. Then you have to explicitly specify the culture, but it is a different concept. So ignore that for a time being. The next thing is, for example, we are printing the same number itself. Generally, we don't want to display the sign of the number in case of positive number. But suppose you want to display the sign of the number either plus or minus, even for positive numbers also. In that case, you will add plus. So in case if the number is a positive number, it displays the plus sign like this. And in case if the number is a negative number, it displays the minus sign automatically. And you can add the comma as well. So it provides the digit grouping as well as the sign, that is either plus or minus. Actually, in case of negative, even without using this plus symbol, you will get that negative sign. But only in case of positive value, you must add the plus sign in order to force the system to print the positive sign as well. And then next after that, suppose we have some decimal part like this. So I would like to round this number up to 2 decimals. Let us try. So again we are calling this format method, but this time we have to mention dot for representation of decimal part, and then we have to specify the number of decimals that you want to display. Suppose you want to display the 2 decimals in this case. So you will add 2. You can give it like 1, 2, 3, any number. So this will represent the number of decimals that you want to display. And after that, you will add f to represent that it is the float number. So here f for float. So like this, we are getting the 2 decimals after this decimal point. And also it gets rounded up, means this second digit will be increased by 1 in case if the next upcoming digit is greater than or equal to 5. For example, if you are giving 5 here instead of 4, then you will get the output as 38 instead of 37, because as per the mathematical rules, you need to round up to the next integer whenever the next upcoming number is 5 or greater than 5. So as per that, this 37 becomes 38 because the next number is 5. So even in case if you give 6 or greater than that, you will get same number, that is 38. Alright, that is about rounding. And then suppose we have a variable called commission, that is, for example, 45. So instead of printing this commission as 0.45 as it is, you would like to print the same as percentage format, that is 45%. So in this case, you will write like .2%. That means the number of decimals as 2 decimals after the decimal point. And after that, we have percentage. So instead of printing this 0.45, we are getting 45%. You can remove the same. Just keep percentage. So this 0.45 will be printed as 45%. But see, in this case, we are getting too many number of decimals. So we have to write point and then the number of decimals, for example 0, because I don't want to get any number of decimal part. So in this case, as you can see, we are printing that 0.45 as 45%. For example 23, you can print any other percentage. So overall, these are all various techniques to format the strings. So we can print the number into percentage format, and then we can display the positive sign by using this plus, and then we can specify the number of decimals that you want, and also the digit grouping with comma. And of course, we have various techniques to mix the strings with variable values. So this is the cheat sheet for the same. This is the default order. This is positional order where you will use the indexes. You can use the indexes in any order, like for example 1 first and then 0 and then 2. And this is the named order where you will use the keys instead of variable names. And in case if you want to use the variable names as it is, then f strings, where you will prefix the f before the opening the double quotes. Of course, it works with single quotes as well. And this is for rounding off based on number of decimals. This is for digit grouping, leading sign for positive numbers. And then this is for percentage. So this is all about formatting the strings. And in the next lecture, we are trying to understand the casing the strings.